All right, in this video, I am going to be sharing with you what, in my opinion, the top 5 low wattage electric appliances are that you can use for cooking. Not only are they super low wattage, but they are super affordable, super easy to use and clean, and pack a lot of punch for not a lot of power draw that you would expect for most electric cooking. So let's get right into it, shall we? I'm Heather. Welcome or welcome back to my channel, Heather's Hikes and Adventures. And like I said, today's topic is going to be all about low wattage electric cooking. Whether you are like me, who prefers to do all of your cooking electric if possible, aside from maybe using the campfire, or whether you're just someone that wants to maybe incorporate that as an alternate or backup option, whatever your personal scenario. I think all 5 of these low wattage electric appliances that I'm going to share with you today are fantastic options to use off-grid, car camping, for full-time nomad life, either cooking in or out of your vehicle, pretty much anywhere, even from a sticks and bricks. I've used all of these appliances I'm going to share with you in my sticks and bricks home base as well. So let's get right into this list, shall we? And then I want you to stay tuned all the way till the end if you would like to see them in action, because after I share all 5 with you and discuss them, I am going to test each one of them on 2 different stations so that you can see if they actually pull the amount they say they do on the specs or label, or whether that is not a number you can trust. The other thing I'll mention real quickly before getting to the list is that all 5 of these items are items that I researched ahead of time and bought and purchased with my own money. I wanted to make sure that I was purchasing things that I would really use, that would be efficient, that would be multi-purpose, and that I would really get a lot of real use in when I was out on the road especially, but just in general, that they weren't going to just sit as wasted space. Because as you know, if you are in a vehicle of pretty much any rig size, space is at a premium. So you don't really want to be lugging around stuff that you don't actually see yourself using on a regular basis. So I think I've blabbed enough. Let's talk about number 1. First item we are going to talk about is this lovely lady here, the Hot Logic Mini. And we are talking about it up here in the driver's seat because that's honestly where I end up using it the most. It's ideal for long drive days when I want to arrive at camp and have a hot, delicious meal ready to go without having to deal with actually cooking it and prepping it and all of that once I get to camp. If I'm, especially if I'm driving for hours that day. It does take a while to cook since it's a very slow cooker. But the advantage to that is that it never goes above 165 degrees Fahrenheit. So you don't have to worry about burning or overcooking your food. You don't have to worry about it getting too hot if you leave it unattended. The worst that's going to happen if you leave it on too long is that you're going to drain too much of your precious power. So aside from that, it does take anywhere from like 30 minutes to 2 hours, depending on what you're heating up or if you're actually cooking something. But it says it draws 45 watts. I personally, it's been my experience that it's taken even less than that. It normally seems to hover in the 38 to 39 watt range when I use it. I also use it on my smallest Jackery 240 since it does use less than 45 watts. But the way I use it when I am up front driving is with my little cup holder inverter. I chose to get the one that has the 110 regular outlet plug. You can opt for either the 12 volts or the 110 option, but I figure this way I can use it with my power station or up front, whereas if I had just the 12 volts, it would be a little harder to use with my power stations if I'm using them for my fridge or other DC things. So that was why I got the 110, but both supposedly draw the same amount of power. So that's just a personal preference thing. I did get mine when it was on sale. I know I paid under $30 for it. So if you're pricing them and you see that they're a little on the higher end, because I have seen them for as much as $50 online, just wait a few weeks, probably not even, and at least one of the styles or more are going to go on sale for considerably less. So I would say $25 to $30 max you can expect to spend for that item. So enough about the Hot Logic Mini. Let's move on to number 2. Okay, the next item that I want to discuss is the Dash Mini Griddle. It pulls 350 watts according to the specs. As you can see, it's very compact, and it does have the hot or the heating plates on both sides. The light comes on when it's heating, and then when it reaches temperature, it'll cut off until it needs to cycle back on to hit that temperature again and keep it steady. I have used this on both my Jackery 1000 and my Bluetti EB70S. So really, it would work on like a 500 watt or higher station as well, since it does pull that 350, plus a little more for that initial surge. Remember to stay tuned till the end if you want to see the actual pull. But I've made all kinds of things with this baby. I've made smashburger tacos, regular traditional burgers like bacon cheeseburgers, pizza, breakfast sandwiches. So versatile. So highly, highly recommend this. I have used it so many times, and I think I got it for like $19.99, but this also goes on sale quite a bit. Okay, now we are going to discuss Dash Mini Griddle's older cousin, the Mini Egg Bite Maker. All right, as you can see, it is a little bit larger than the Griddle for comparison. So you do have more cooking surface space, but it does pull a slightly higher wattage because of that. It's a 420 watts versus 350. One thing I do like about this one is it actually clicks closed so that you can't open it once it clicks in place. The Griddle does not do that. As a matter of fact, I have made probably the best grilled cheese sandwich of my life on this thing. So let's just take a minute and I'll show you a few things that I've made on both the Griddle and then on the Egg Bite Maker, the grilled cheese sandwich too, so you can kind of get an idea.
All right, I think it's safe to assume we are good. It is crispy on the outside, gooey on the inside. Let's take this baby off and eat it for brunch, shall we? Look at that, hardly anything to clean up. As soon as it cools down, I'm going to be able to just wipe it off with a paper towel for now, and then I'll take a little vinegar water to it in a minute. But oh my gosh, do you guys see that?
Okay, friends, we are now up to top appliance number 4. This one is probably the most versatile of any that we've shown so far. So let me grab her. This, by the way, have you noticed my color theme? Are you sensing a trend? Yes, I have decided to go with a one color scheme option for my appliances, but that was purely aesthetic. No logical reasoning behind it. However, this is the Dezin electric pot / pan, basically whatever you want it to be. The cord goes in here, you plug it into your power station. It has 2 settings, low and high. The low is supposed to be 150 watts and the high is supposed to be 600 watts. So you can use it as a skillet to cook meat, veggies, pretty much any omelets, pretty much anything like that. You can boil water in it and make pastas, raviolis, rice, potato, mashed potatoes, anything like that that requires boiling water and cooking. It's perfect for soups, stews. You get the idea. And it also comes with like a little attachment inside that lets you boil eggs with it, but I haven't used that feature. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the things that I have made with this so far. last but certainly not least, I think this is my most used appliance of all, and it's actually the lowest wattage. Well, if you don't count the 150 low setting of the pan. My 300 watt electric kettle. I did a whole video on this. In fact, I have videos featuring all of these appliances, so I'll be sure to link those in the description below if you want to see any more about them. But this video actually has more views than quite a few of my videos, so I think it is a fan favorite with a lot of people. It only takes about 5 minutes to boil water when I have it plugged in. And again, it's 300 watts. So it's like it draws half the power of my collapsible kettle that I used to use all the time. Perfect for one serving if you're making coffee, if you need to heat up for like a dehydrated meal like a Mountain House. So quick, so efficient. I'm telling you, pulls hardly any power to boil water like that. Okay, so now that I have shown you my 5 most favorite, best bang for your buck, must have cooking appliances for low wattage electric cooking, I am going to go inside home base and we are going to put these babies to the test so you can see how much they really draw to see whether you can trust the label when you're purchasing appliances like this. See you in there.
All right, I have all 3 of my power stations set up along with all 5 of the appliances. So let's do a little experimentation, shall we, friends? We are going to start with the lowest wattage draw here, and the only one that I can use on my baby Jackery 240 Explorer. So let's turn this on. We'll see the inverter kicked on. And we're going to plug it in. Now let's see how many watts it draws. As you can see, it's holding pretty steady at 37 watts, so that's actually less than the 45 watts that are on the specs. Let's try it on the Bluetti and see if there's any difference in how it draws. All right, first we're going to turn on the AC inverter. Now we're going to plug it in. All right, looks like we're holding steady pretty much around 41 watts, so it does draw more on the Bluetti than it does on the Jackery. See, both were significantly under the 45 watts, so you can definitely rely on the specs here with the Hot Logic, in my opinion. Now let's move on to the Dash Mini Griddle and the Egg Bite Maker and see how those perform. If you saw my last power video, you'll know that the Jackery unit consistently oscillates between 3 and 6 watts when the AC inverter is on to keep it on at a steady rate. So let's see what happens when we plug in the griddle. Oop. There we go. You'll hear it kick on. Now that we're not being drowned out, let's see how it does over here on the Bluetti. Right, looks like there was more of an initial surge, although not a ton, but I'm seeing a trend here. Right, now for the Egg Bite Maker, which again is supposed to be, according to the label, 420 watts. Let's see if that's accurate. right, now it's Blue's turn. It pulled less than rated on the Jackery. Let's see if the trend for Blue Eddy continues and if it's going to actually be pulling more. All right, this one is actually pretty accurate. It is still over what it is rated for, the 420 watts, but not by as much as some of the other appliances. Looks like we're pulling about 430 on the Blue Eddy. Right, next in line is my Dezin electric pot slash pan slash whatever you want to call it. Let's see about this one. We are going to start on Big Jack, or my Jackery Explorer 1000 this time. And you can see nothing right now because I didn't turn it on yet. I do have a little bit of water in there just so that I don't have a hot burner on nothing. So let's do the low setting, which is supposed to be the 150. All right, now we're going to move to the high setting. Already we're seeing a big variance. Now on the high setting, it is supposed to be 600 watts. And you can see that's much more accurate. It's actually pulling a little less than the 600. But it pulls significantly more than 150 for the low setting, which means I cannot use it on my little Jackery like I had initially hoped, but it will work on anything that can pull at least 260 or higher. Sorry for shouting over that. I could have just unplugged it. But now we are going to turn this back off and we are going to try it on the Blue Eddy to see what the difference is on this one. All right, let's do the low setting again, which again is supposed to be 150. Whoa. So we can agree that's substantially more than the 150 watt that it claims. Now let's see if the 600 watt is more accurate. And you can see it pulls considerably more here on the Blue Eddy as well. We are at 735 watts almost, over 730 versus 600. Whereas the Jackery was under the 600 mark. Yep, we're still holding at 730. So as you can see, not all power stations are created equal in terms of the draw that they use. We're going to do the last and final appliance test, which is my 300 watt kettle. Let's see what it uses here versus here. If I had to guess, I'm going to think that it's going to go over 300 on the Blue Eddy. Just for giving it the benefit of the doubt, even though I don't think it makes a difference at all. Let's go ahead and start with the Blue Eddy this time. All right, we've got it plugged in. It's on. So you can see it is definitely pulling over 360 watts when it's supposed to pull 300. Let's try it on this one. All right, last experiment. Here we go. Let's turn on the AC again for Big Jack, as I affectionately call him. And we have it plugged in, light on. I will say Jack is a little bit louder, but he's coming through at 310 versus 360, and we love that for him and for me. I hope this experiment was eye-opening for you all. It actually ended up being pretty eye-opening for me and may change the way I utilize my power stations on future trips. So I'm glad I did this before my upcoming one.
All right, there you have it, folks. My top 5 must-have low wattage electric cooking appliances. So versatile, so affordable, so easy to use. 10 out of 10 recommend each and every one of these. I have gotten so much use out of them all. I will continue to get use out of them all. And in fact, I don't really foresee myself needing much more at this point. They meet all of my needs. So as always, I hope you found this video helpful, informative, useful. Maybe I did a lot of the legwork and research and elimination process for you, and I can save you some time and money. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to let me know in the comments. Also, if you have a favorite low wattage electric appliance that you think has something else to offer or is a favorite of yours, I'd love to know it, and I'm sure the rest of the viewers would too. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy this type of content, maybe consider subscribing so that you don't miss future videos like this. And I will see you again soon. Bye for now, friends.